let's talk about your recommendations from Octavia Butler and why you've chosen to highlight her.
Yes, Octavia Butler, she was the first Black woman sci-fi author that I came across. And I think I was just about to start college. So my understanding of literature was also, we didn't have Instagram back then, and Facebook hardly talked about books. So my understanding of sci-fi was so close-minded that when I came across this book, I was like, whoa, woman writing sci-fi, what is this? And how will it add more themes in the book where we have only seen women as, either the wife of some alien species chief or uh, I mean, they're either wives, mothers, sisters, just adding to the plot line, but they are not the plot, they are not the characters on which the plot is driven. But Octavia Butler, wonderful writer, she wrote her works from, I would say, 1960s to the 1990s. Considering her books are like decades old by now, they are so realistic in nature. And the first book I would say is the most realistic sci-fi I've read by her is Parable of the Sower. It is talking about how the world is right now. And right now, I mean that in the 90s, she was talking about how the world would be the way we are seeing it in 2025 with climate change, with the way climate change is being dismissed and nations are not working together towards solving this problem. It also talks about social inequality, which we have seen in the world for eons altogether. However, the social inequality, the way we are seeing it more now, between, I would say, the haves and the have nots, the billionaires versus the others. So that would be the first book, which would be a great introduction to her work. And after that, I would recommend reading a trilogy by her. It's called the Xenogenesis trilogy. Now that book, that trilogy, it picks off from the point when an apocalypse actually happens on Earth, like when everything is destroyed by nuclear power, and how then aliens come about and colonize Earth, pick some people off, and then how the story goes on with respect to the humans who are picked by the aliens, and how they either use them as a resource, or how they again start connecting with human values and trying to understand humans. So both books are at very good jumping off points. One is like pre-apocalypse and one is post-apocalypse, and very easily readable books. Like how I would say Binti was a really easily readable book, but again, it makes you think so much. It makes you go back, look at your prejudices, and understand that, you know what, we don't know everything. So that's why we need to be in a constant learning stage, no matter our age.
Yeah, I love that. And I'd seen her name when we were looking up some books.
For sure.
So yeah, I've heard about her, and I didn't realize that she started writing so long ago. But she's come up again and again when we were researching what to read, and I
Yeah.
really, really want to read those books. So, would you say for people who have not read her books before to start with the Parable of the Sower
Yeah.
if they were going to delve into her stuff?
Yes.
Very cool.
Because we are living Parable of the Sower right now. So that is a great jumping off point.
There's an article that came out a couple months ago by America Magazine. It says Octavia Butler, a Black science fiction writer who predicted today's dire headlines. And so then seeing that again, and I knew she'd probably come up in this, so I'll add that to my to read section in the description box. So very interesting. Yep. Yeah, and I'd like to delve more into, on the side, more into her and how her and Nnedi, like what inspired them to write what they write, and like what inspires them to create these worlds. But also with Octavia, again, like her stuff was kind of, would you say, sci-fi slash dystopian future?
Say dystopia is like a sub theme of her book, because in any kind of futuristic vision that we have of Earth or of sci-fi, we are not going to see the Earth the way it is today. So in a way, some kind, and of course all civilizations go through the cycle of creation and destruction. So in her books, an apocalypse is generally a subgenre to either a subgenre or an outcome of why alien contact happens. So yeah, so I would not say I can't call it dystopian fiction, because it's not just talking about what happens when a dystopia happens, but it almost takes dystopia as the first stage in how we then reconstruct society, and in that reconstruction we come into contact with other alien intergalactic species.